Hi everybody, this is Eitan Aviner from Toronto, Canada. So I've seen recently in the past, 2-3 years, a lot of people have been getting into these whole book reviews. They're sharing every week the kind of books that they're reading and writing a review, and I figured, why don't I get into that as well? So I don't read that much. I like to dabble here and there a little bit, and recently I read one of actually a book from my favorite author, and I thought maybe discuss it a little bit. I don't know if you've heard about it. There's a Walk It in My Pocket by Dr. Seuss. I'll just read, 2-3 pages to give you a feel of the literature here. So it's, did you ever have the feeling that there's a zamp in the lamp? Sometimes I am quite certain there's a jerkin in the curtain, and when I hear a talk, I know a zlok's behind the clock. And it goes on and on like that. And although I'm usually a very big fan of Dr. Seuss, I feel that he really expands my horizons on a lot of thoughts. I felt that he was a little lazy in this book. I felt, he says it himself, it's just a book of ridiculous rhymes, and the names don't really have much significance other than that they rhyme with certain objects, and that kind of lacks character development to a certain respect. So it really wasn't to my taste so much, not to my liking, but juxtapose that to this week's Parsha, and I think we'll see something totally different. That names really do matter, because in this week's Parsha Vaera, Hashem very much cares about names, as the Parsha begins by Dvar Elokim, using that name of God, El Moshe, Vayomer Elav, Ani Yud Kei Vav Kei, I am the God Yud Kei Vav Kei, and Hashem continues to go ahead and explain to Moshe that the Avos only knew him as Kel Shakai, they didn't know him as Yud Kei Vav Kei, and now he wants to bring that name, that expression of himself into the world. And the truth is that this is really piggybacking off of last week's Parsha, because last week, when Hashem first comes to Moshe, Moshe has a lot of reasons to be reluctant and hesitant to go ahead and take this mission on from God. And he brings them all, that he stutters and Paro won't listen and all of that. But one of the earlier issues that Moshe brings is he says, listen, God, I'm going to go to the Jews and they're going to want to know what your name is. Like, what do I tell them? And as a reader, you have to kind of scratch your head and be like, really, Moshe? Like, that's what matters? The Jews are going to care about his name? They're being oppressed. They're being enslaved. There's fetal genocide going on. God's name? But Hashem goes along and he says, all right, my name is Asher. I am the God that will be. I will be that which I will be. What's going on here? So I think that Moshe's concern was as such. Moshe can come to Am Yisrael and he can say, listen, Elokim came to me and Elokim said that he's going to take you out. The God of power, he's going to go ahead, he's going to strong arm Paro, and he's going to take you out. And the Jews could have said, listen, Moshe, we've seen power. We've been under Paro, we've seen the power, we've seen what happens with power, we've seen abusive power, and quite frankly, we're not interested in trading one abusive tyrant to another. We're quite comfortable here, and we're okay. Right? Because that's not what Am Yisrael needed. What Am Yisrael needed was empathy. They needed not just to be freed from their slavery, but redeemed from their pain. And God tells Moshe, tell them who I am. Tell them how I'm going to express myself to them through my name. I am the God that will be with them in their pain in Egypt, and I will be with them through their pain and suffering throughout history. And throughout Parshat Shemot, Moshe doesn't succeed in getting Paro to send them out. So in this week's Parsha, Hashem comes and he reaffirms this promise to Moshe that he's going to come and he's going to have that type of expression, that type of relationship with Am Yisrael. A relationship of empathy, that he's going to be there for Am Yisrael. And I was kind of reflecting on that a little bit in terms of how we, even in our generation, how we reflect, how we respond and connect with God. Look at our tefillah. Our tefillahs are more or less, the Shemona Esrei is, God, I need something. I need parnasa. I need refuah. I need dat. I need Yerushalayim. I need Beit HaMikdash. I need. You're the Hakol Yachol. Please go ahead. The God of power, provide me with what I need, and then thank you. But how often do we go ahead and do we approach the God as a God of empathy? Do we say, God, listen, I'm going through a lot. I'm going through some good stuff. I'm going through some bad stuff. I'm going through some stress, some struggles, some challenges, and I don't need you to solve any of that. I just need you. I need you to be with me. I need that paradigm of a relationship that you promised to Moshe that you'd be with us. So be with me as I walk through my own challenges, through my journey in life. Be by my side, be the God of relationship, the God of empathy. And in that respect, God's name is a name that matters. God's name is a name that cares. And that's a name worth considering.